Danish stitch is just an individual knot. You can group them together to make a fill though. You're going to start by taking a diagonal stitch, and then you're going to come up. It's up to you how far away from that stitch. We're going to come up like we're going to do a cross stitch kind of, and we're going to be in between. We want to center it between the two ends where we came up and came down on our first stitch. We're going to take our needle up over the, we're going to go up over the diagonal stitch we made, take the needle under the stitch. We want our thread to be below the needle, and then we're going to pull through and just pull it up. You don't want it so tight that you're distorting it, but you do want to pull it down. Now we're going to go back up again. We're going to take the needle from top to bottom under that first stitch on the right side now, and we want our thread to be below under the needle and pull through. And then to finish it off, we're just going to take the needle down to the back right there by where we came up, and that finishes our Danish knot stitch. Let me do a few more. We're still going to take our diagonal stitch, but we can come up much closer to that stitch if we want to. Going to come up between my beginning and my end of that diagonal stitch, and this time I'm right next to the thread. I'm going to take the needle up above that stitch. I'm going to slide under the stitch without catching the thread or the fabric. I want my needle to be above the thread that's coming out of the fabric, so I'm coming up to the left of that thread. I'm going to pull through, and then I'm going to once again top to bottom, but I'm going to go on the right side of that stitch, so my thread is now above my needle or to the left, depending on how you're looking at it. I'm going to once again slide my needle under that stitch top to bottom without catching the thread or the fabric, and my thread coming out of the fabric is under my needle. Pull up, and then to finish it off, just take a little tack stitch right there. I like the look of the ones that are more of a triangle better, but it's going to depend on what you're doing with them. So again, diagonal stitch or just a straight stitch. I'm going to come up like I'm making a triangle. If I want it to be the wider one, I want to be in the middle between where I came up and went down on this stitch. I'm going to come up, take my needle over the top of my stitch that I just made, then take the needle under that thread from top to bottom or right to left. It should be above or to the left of the thread that's coming out of the fabric. Pull up. I'm going to once again go from top to bottom, or it's right to left depending on how you're looking at it, under the first stitch I made without catching the fabric or the thread. Bring my thread under the tip of the needle, pull up, then tack right over the top of that loop, really close to where I came up on my third point. If you tie knots, this is very similar to a half hitch knot. So my one straight stitch, come up midway between these two, and it's up to you how far away from that stitch you are. Go down from top to bottom or right to left, depending on how you're looking at it, under the stitch we just made without catching the fabric or the thread. My thread coming out of the fabric is below or to the right of my needle. Pull up. Once again, from top to bottom or right to left, however you're looking at it, we're going under that first stitch without catching the thread or the fabric. Our thread coming out of the fabric goes under the tip of the needle, pull up, tack down. I think it's kind of a pretty knot. Just for kicks, if we made that first stitch longer, so let's see, it's a bigger one. It's not going to be as tight of a knot coming up. You get more of a leg coming off of it then if you make those longer. So that's the Danish knot.